Rhodes didn't want to. I'm sure Rhodes was an asshole. Shit, he's the one that killed the territory. Crockett sold the territory, went out of business because of Dusty Rhodes. I'm serious, because of Dusty Rhodes. If he would have kept doing what he was doing, that his dad had established that territory, that would have never happened. The territory still be going today.
Detroit.
Dusty had dreams of grandeur or whatever, and the Jets, that's what broke him.
This was the thing that was unique about DX was I thought to have a long teasing intro before we get to the music. I worked with Chris Warren, the singer, who did such a great job. I didn't know what I wanted it to be. Just to have something while I was working with Chris in the studio, right here as a matter of fact, I just set up a beat just with the kick drum. I set it up almost as like just a metronome, so I'd have something in the headphones. And I had Chris in front of the microphone, and I was on the other side of the microphone, and I said, I'm just going to start thinking of something, and I want you to say it in your incredibly cool, attitudinal, snotty voice.
Time to play the game. Time to play the game.
Hunter's been around, wow, since he was Hunter Hearst Helmsley and wrote a harpsichord theme, which not exactly would fall under the description of your average WWE theme. And then wrote him another song called My Time. It's this guy's time. I mean, he's going to go. He's going to be one of the guys who becomes a superstar. And then he was really ready to step it up another notch, and I wrote this song called The Game.
I hear voices in my head, they counsel me, they understand, they talk to me.
Part of what makes writing a song for a guy like Randy is his strength is his quietness. I mean, that's who he is. You don't know what he's thinking. But because of that, it doesn't give you a lot of information. I began thinking about, well, there must be a lot going on inside. And at first I was a little uncomfortable with this sort of spooky notion of voices, but I wrote it on acoustic guitar, and I wrote it not as a rock song. I wasn't even thinking a rock song. It was just sort of a dark, trancy.
I'm smart, you're dumb. I'm big, you're little. I'm right, you're wrong. And there's nothing you can do about it.
It doesn't matter what you think.
Shit.
You didn't say that. Tell me you did not just say that.
There's nothing anyone can do, there's nothing anyone can say. There's little can be done right now to make this go away. Cliched simple platitudes do not to quell the dread, and the breadth and gravity just send me crawling back to bed. It's useless in this moment to say we'll get through this somehow. There's time enough for action, but that time isn't now. Soon we can start planning for what may come to be. But what I could really use right now is a bacon roll and a cup of tea. I don't need positive affirmations, I need to scream and bawl. The unrealistic expectations won't help with this at all. This is shit. Well, this is shit. I'm not expecting answers because they're out of your remit. I'm not looking for solutions, just for someone to admit that this is shit, this is shit, this is shit. You're trying to be...
Backbone Wrestling Network, welcome to episode number 47 of The Shit Take. I am your host, Shawn, and I am joined always by Keith Langston. Keith, how are you today?
I am doing amazing. How are you?
I'm doing great. I don't know. This might take on this episode might set you off. I always try to think of things that are cringe that might make you get really mad. And I don't think I've done that in a while. I'm trying to think the last one because I can only talk about Randy Savage so much. I can already talk about Steve Austin so much. this one might push you over the edge, but I'm going to tell you, this should take as a direct correlation of shit that you made me watch for Clash of the Backbone.
Well, I'm trying to think of the last time. Yeah, see, I don't really get you as much as you get me, and that's, I think, it's just because I'm a much more emotional.
I think the last one you got me was Paul Dangerously, when you're saying he was shitty with the bloodline.
Yes. Am I wrong? I mean, we're still going on with this now. I mean,
well, I think he's shittier now than he was with the bloodline.
No,
Yeah.
Okay, but I mean, I think I still stand. My opinion still stands with the. He just became such a creepy uncle when he started and it wasn't even so much with because it wasn't really Brock, if I remember. I mean, Brock, it became a thing with Brock where it was like he just said the same promo over and over and over again because Brock wasn't there. But at least
he still does now.
Right, but there was a reason why, and it was because Brock, although I thought Brock's promo he cut against Obafemi was actually pretty good, so he can talk, he just doesn't have to. But the thing that got creepy with me was just that weird look that Paul Heyman started doing with Roman Reigns, where he would just, and you could see me,
where he do this little,
well, the great audio podcasting, but you could see it where he's like,
and he'll put his hands together and he'll look at him like he wants to.
It's just like, and it's just like it got really weird, and then it was like, okay, this is just bizarre. And then, and the thing that irritates me too is when people start wrestling people start saying he's the greatest manager of all time because of all the champions he had nothing to do with anything that Brock Lesnar won or continued to keep. And the same goes for Roman Reigns, and then maybe even Seth Rollins. I mean, it's just Bobby Heenan was instrumental in a lot of his champions' victories and stuff like that, but not. And Bobby was a great mouthpiece for guys that at a time when mouthpieces were either needed or not needed. Whereas Paul Heyman just is there. I mean, you don't need a manager when you're Brock Lesnar. You know what I mean?
like it when we go off topic because I'm going to disagree with you on two things.
Okay, go ahead.
Two things. Brock Lesnar would not have gotten over the way he did in 2002 when he debuted without Paul.
I'm not talking about back then though.
I just think they're a team. I just think that's kind of a thing.
Okay.
And I will disagree with you on one thing about Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns was not over as a face or any character whatsoever until Paul joined him with the bloodline. And that really set Roman over the edge.
It's hard to say only because he really wasn't as much as soon as he became a heel or got Paul Heyman, he became a heel. It's I can't remember which came first. It's chicken or the egg. So it's hard to say whether or not he would have gotten over as a heel if he didn't have Paul Heyman, or if he would have been able to eventually get over it. I mean, the only way he got over as a face by having cancer. That's it. And that's obviously sucks.
Goddamn, pal.
Those are facts. That's the only reason he became a babyface is because he had cancer.
They were over in the Shield, but you're right. His babyface character never really.
Can I go back to Suffer and Succotash? Are we really going to say, let's be honest here? I mean, But anyway, let's not get into that. Let's get into the reason we're really here.
All right, we'll get it. So if
you're gonna go first, or you want me to go first?
I'll go first because I want to get you all riled up before I make you go. So let's put it this way. So if our audience has listened to Clash of the Backbones, the last two as of this recording I did with you, right? Mm-hmm. The last two. Mm-hmm. And I think both of those, if you correct me if I'm wrong,
amazing.
Dusty had just come back, right?
Yes.
Dusty had just come back straight out of his feud with the $1 Million Man, looking like an idiot. Mm-hmm. And then he comes back and he becomes the booker and he becomes the announcer. And I will say probably more in the second Clash you made me watch.
Ooh, daddy.
Dusty Rhodes booking and all the new characters they were introducing was awful. He had some PN news. The booking was terrible. And so it made me really think about Dusty Rhodes in context as an overall star. Everyone knows, I love Crockett era NWA. I love, for me, 85 to 89, NWA is great.
Yeah.
However, Crockett era died because they got too big for their britches. They spent too much money. They bought the UWF. There's numerous reasons why they went out of business, Crockett. Mm-hmm. I'm going to tell you the number one reason is fucking Dusty Rhodes.
Okay.
So hear me out on this. And I like Dusty Rhodes. This isn't about making you hate Dusty Rhodes. This is not like me. No, this is not like me going in on like what I do with Randy Savage or Austin. This is like a really, it's a shit take, but it's a shit take from the heart. Because I love me some Dusty Rhodes. I loved him when he went to WWF. I always see like on the online stuff, and you'll love this too. The Honky Tonk Man versus Dusty Rhodes is an uncredited classic for many reasons. Not because it's a great match, but it's fucking great, right?
No, that whole situation at SummerSlam is fantastic.
Yeah, I feel like Dusty Rhodes.
As much as I hate Honky, it's a classic. Yes.
I think Dusty Rhodes in WWF was great up until the time they got him with Sapphire, and SummerSlam 90 is when he really started to go south for me.
I mean, it's funny because, as you know, on GFA Live, we're like in the throes. We basically have covered the entire Dusty run.
Right.
And right now we're towards the end of it where it's with him and Dustin and going up against Teddy DiBiase. The Sapphire shit was funny in the sense that Pete and I made it funny, but you're right. I think that it was weird. It was something that wasn't needed, but I guess in the long run, it did kind of help because it got Sherry, I guess, involved once he kind of shifted on to Savage and Sherry. And anytime you can get Sherry involved, it helps. So, but that's not booking Dusty. That's wrestling.
No,
Dusty.
but I feel like Rhodes, I guess for me, like, and I'll say this on the SummerSlam, and I'll get back to my initial point. I feel like the Savage Rhodes feud was pretty much done by the time they got to SummerSlam. So the
SummerSlam match was terrible.
Yeah, so the fact that Savage beat him in such a short amount of time was embarrassing. It's kind of like you saw the writing on the wall where they were going with Dusty.
But what's funny is that at the Saturday night's main event where Dustin is in the front row and DiBiase beats up Dustin, he's wrestling Savage. That's actually a much better match than the one at SummerSlam. And the only thing I will say is this: we sold out the Garden, Daddy. Me and Savage sell out in Madison Square Garden. And that's all I got to say about that.
All right, so let's see what Dusty has to say about my take. So my take is Dusty Rhodes ruined the NWA Crockett era, and the NWA never recovered. And that's why they had to sell to Ted Turner. That's why they became WCW.
Okay.
The whole end game.
Okay.
Okay, so let me give you my reason why.
Yeah, please.
Dusty Rhodes was a major creative role in Jim Crockett.
Yep.
He had the booking. He did the promos as a character. He was amazing, right? I think he was part of the reason why they expanded so much. Like, I don't know if you know about this, but have you ever heard the stories about them putting an office in Dallas, buying all these fucking planes and all this shit? And that mainly it's Dusty and his plane. You never heard about that?
I've never heard about that.
All right, it's a story. Look it up online. The motherfucker.
Well, one thing I will say is every NWA Jim Crockett Promotions wrestler was contracted to mention Dusty Rhodes in every promo they had. And
I'll get into that. Yeah, I'll get into that. He had his finger in the jar of every fucking thing. So even if you're in a feud with, let's say you're in a feud with Buzzy McGraw, you still had to fucking, Dusty Rhodes, he's going to help me, and Dusty this, Dusty that. Like, they all did it. Like, even if you were world champion, Ric Flair had to mention Dusty Rhodes in almost every fucking promo.
Ric Flair's like, Lex Luger, I got a big problem with you. And also with Dusty Rhodes.
Right. Nikita Koloff, Dusty Rhodes. It's like, it's just Magnum TA. Magnum TA probably could have gotten over a lot faster if Dusty Rhodes wasn't involved in every fucking thing he was doing. So Dusty's booking philosophy reinforced the mindset of, it's worth it if it pops, and you know what? I'm going to put myself in every single situation because I'm the main star, baby.
Yeah.
They scaled too high. They were basically a Southern brand and went to try to go too big. They tried to go too big. Great case, Starrcade 87 in Chicago. They weren't ready for Chicago and doing a Starrcade in Chicago. They were not ready for that. They just weren't. That was Dusty booking. They produced strong TV moments, and they had good gates, but their expenses, like I said, were way up. Dusty's creative approach was always about him. It was always about him.
Yeah.
And if you listen to interviews, like at the beginning of this podcast, I have Ron Garvin, of all people, talking about Dusty Rhodes booking and why he left the NWA. And he shits all over Dusty. So it's great to listen to Ron Garvin shit on Dusty. I don't know. I just think we got to a point where by the end of the Crockett era, because of their cost, their spending, Dusty's booking, always constantly putting himself in a no. He even went against Turner and decided to do the whole eye angle with the Road Warriors, which that's ultimately what he got fired for.
Yeah.
And then we ended up selling. So for me, I think Dusty Rhodes in the end made it too much about himself, didn't make it about the overall Crockett promotion and the overall. Like, they should have been a bigger company than they were, and Dusty Rhodes is a big part of why, because he couldn't get out of his own self-booking and who he was.
All right, so you basically are you not going to touch upon Dusty coming back in '91 and getting the book again?
I did.
Well,
and he sucked at that too.
Well, all right, so
he sucked at his booking in '91 too.
I thought about this because obviously you and
That's what made me think about. By the way, that's what got me to this point, is seeing that damn clash.
Right.
Got me, and then I got thinking about 91 overall. Then I think about the Great American Bash 91, which is one of the worst pay-per-views of all fucking time, Keith. It's terrible.
I don't know if it's one of the worst.
It is, and it's 100%. Go online and say, what's the worst pay-per-view of all time? That one will come up.
I don't know. I mean, there's some late-stage WCW pay-per-views.
I guess Pia News in a scaffold match makes a lot of sense.
No. All right. Take it easy. Don't start saying things you're going to regret.
Steve Austin in a scaffold match. That's pretty fair because he sucked then, but that's...
I mean, all right. I will say that when you and I talked offline and about the shit takes and everything, because obviously we tell each other what we're going to be talking about and everything, to pull the curtain back. Sorry, spoiler alert. It does get me, and one of the reasons I think we tell each other is because it allows us to formulate our opposing opinions. And I kind of thought about this when you started talking about it, because I was like, because when Dusty comes back in 91, he steals a lot of what he basically learned under the shtick tree with Vince. And he came back and he says, I'm going to put all this. The only difference is that while Vince was able to make magic with some of his terrible gimmicks, and that I think a lot of it is a testament of who got the gimmick and who took it over. Case in point, I think friggin' One Man Gang got Akeem over. I think Dusty got the Polka Dots over. I think Mark Calloway got the Undertaker over. But obviously, Terry Taylor couldn't get the Red Rooster over.
Rick Martel got the Model over, right? You're right.
Like there are some gimmicks that the guys got over.
The Russos.
Dusty, I think Dusty didn't like Dusty's gimmicks weren't horrifying. They were just horrifying because of who he had doing the gimmicks. And that's I think what kind of, but in retrospect, the other booker who was Ole Anderson was terrible too. Like I go to the Black Scorpion debacle and all that kind of stuff. You know, it wasn't. And then listening to Kale and Fry or whoever else it was they were listening to.
That all started with Dusty.
No, I know, but well, not the Black Scorpion. But I think that you're right. Dusty's booking days were probably way behind him by that point. Going back to when, yes, Dusty putting himself, which is funny because when Cody went to AEW, everyone was kind of like, all right, let's see what happens. And for his benefit, Cody didn't put himself over in the main event. He put himself over, I think, in the TNT title or whatever, like on the mid card.
Yeah, but for the most part, he took some L's. Like he did.
And he elevated other guys as well, which is why it's funny because I think it's kind of a consensus that once Cody left, AEW's booking has been shoddy at best. You know,
I disagree.
Booking, not matches, not wrestling. I think storyline overall arc. Every guy is in a fucking. Every person's in a group. I don't want to say guy because even I think the women are in massive stables. Like everybody's in a massive stable. It always seems to be like they rely on these like 20+ minute matches, these 7.5 hour pay-per-views to get every. It's just, you know what? Sometimes, and we've talked about this, you don't have to have a 20-minute banger with 87 kickouts and all this kind of. You can have a match in 8.5 minutes and have it tell a complete story. And
Meltzer Pod vets that out. What you just said a lot.
Exactly. Yeah, so it's like I don't think that, but I think that you're right. 87, 88. His booking was odd on things that he was in. I don't think he knew to see the forest through the trees. I think Dusty was consumed with keeping himself. But but look, at the end of the day, we're talking about fucking carnies. Like they are who they are. It's the same thing. It's like, it was the same thing with giving Hogan creative control in WCW. It's just, you cannot have guys. And you know what? You could even take it one step further and say, like, look at how much Jeff Jarrett got pushed because he was friends with Vince Russo. You cannot have the booker being that directly close to the heart of the action and what the case is. It's hard because you don't want to have a booker who's completely separate, because then they don't have their finger on the pulse. But you can't have a guy like, one of the biggest rules for being a booker in a company is like, you could be the booker, but you cannot book yourself into every fucking victory.
I think Dusty did that. Well, Dusty took a lot. Like, he lost a lot. To be fair, he did book himself, but then he did the Dusty finish. He booked himself to lose. I think. Yeah. Like the big one. I think the last big match he really lost was against Barry Windham at the Bash, which was, he put Barry over, which was good.
But he was always in the mix.
Always.
And you can't always be in the mix.
The Garvin turn at that pay-per-view was all about Dusty. So they took Wyndham's shine and gave it to Garvin because Dusty wanted to be in a feud. It's terrible. Yeah.
And then had Garvin stuck around, the next big feud would have been Garvin and Dusty in some kind of a blood feud.
I would have been down with that. I was very disappointed we didn't get
No, but that would have been the second biggest promoted match on the card, as opposed to Barry Windham defending defending the U.S. title against whoever it is. I mean, and that's the problem, is that, you can't have a guy. It's kind of like, it kind of is like what happened to Hogan towards the end of WCW before he left, where it was like, Hogan wasn't the champion, but he was still like the main guy on the card, when he would show up. You can't have that. And that's just, so did he kill the territory?
He killed the NWA itself. He killed the Crockett era NWA. He killed it.
Let's say Jim Crockett, because NWA.
I did. I told you that was my take. Crockett. Yeah. He killed Crockett.
I think, did he kill Crockett? He probably led to the death. Talking about Crockett dying is probably the same as who killed WCW. People could say it was Vince Russo. People could say it was Eric Bischoff. People could say it was Hulk Hogan.
It was Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan killed WCW.
Hulk Hogan kills everything, but I mean, no. But did he single-handedly kill Crockett? I think Crockett's biggest problem was probably buying and absorbing the UWF, and then just expecting and not having the purse for it.
Yeah.
And that's probably what killed Crockett, because he inherited a lot of debt, so to speak, and they didn't have the house shows for it. I mean, they weren't going to get the house show. They weren't going to get the same house show money as WWF. But it's funny because we look back so fondly on that time in wrestling and Jim Crockett when they merged with, when they bought UWF and they brought all those guys over. I mean, it's some of the best shit going on,
Yeah, the early 85, 86 Crockett run is probably some of the best wrestling you're ever going to watch. It's amazing.
But I don't think 87 through 89 is bad either.
No, it's not. It's good, but it got to a point, even when Dusty left, I thought when Dusty left at 88, I thought 89 was great. He didn't book Funk versus Flair. He didn't book Steamboat versus Flair.
No, that's when Flair took the book.
Yeah.
Go figure, You look
at argue 89. 89's a fantastic year.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
No, I don't. All right, you're not making me mad, and that's not. Look, I love Dusty, but I'm not like this.
It's not like I came out and said Dusty Rhodes sucks. He's a terrible wrestler.
No.
I mean, he is a terrible wrestler, but he's a good character. That's a lot.
Late stage Dusty got to be where he did his.
He was entertaining.
He did his 2 moves of doom, and that's about it. He didn't even have 5.
He was an entertaining man.
He was entertaining, yes, but Dusty also didn't make a lot of sense with a lot of things that he said.
I will also tell you, pre-Crockett Dusty is really good too. If you go back and watch his stuff from WWF with Billy Graham, and he's got a really good run. Like his late 70s, 80s, early 80s is really good too.
I think I've seen when he wins the world title and everything. I mean, Dusty back in those days with the coat and the hat and everything. Yeah, Dusty was great.
Yep.
I'm not gonna shit on the guy. He, maybe he didn't. I think you said it, and you said it kind of quickly, but I think they got too big for their britches, and they tried to compete with WWF and didn't realize that Vince was a juggernaut and that they were it was a David versus Goliath. And what they should have done is they should have kept UWF open. They should have merged with World Class. They should have merged with Memphis. They should have merged with AWA, and that's what everybody should have done. And merged into this, because I mean, again, when AWA merges with when they were merged with World Class and they're kind of working with Memphis, it's like it's too little, too late. and they didn't have enough star power because all the star power you had is friggin' you had Jerry Lawler and the Von Erichs. That was it.
Yep.
Who's the fucking star power? Colonel De Beers? Who's the star power?
Ron Garvin.
No, but I'm talking about the AWA.
Ron Garvin was in the AWA.
Greg Gagne? Is that your star power? Is Greg Gagne? You know what I mean? Like, you're not going to do that. So, all right. But I'm not going to completely disagree with you, but I'm going to kind of disagree with you.
All right, I'll say one more thing about Dusty, and he came back from WWF in '91 and was doing Vince shit.
Yeah.
The difference between Vince and him is Vince very meticulously built characters over time.
Yeah.
Like they just did all these vignettes on the last Clash of all these guys. Johnny B. Bad coming soon. PN News coming soon. Diamond Stud coming soon.
Yep.
Steve Austin coming soon. They didn't do anything to get the character over. They just introduced them in a vignette that was like 20 seconds long. That was not the way you introduce new characters. Why do I give a fuck? Because the Diamond Stud could have got over. He could have. Big time.
Oh God.
Vinny Vegas.
So Vinny could have been Vegas. Yeah.
But so again, Dusty booking fucks shit up.
And his rehashing of like the yellow dog and you know what's funny? I came across the other day was it's when Barry turns heel and like he's got the Midnight Riders there and I'm like, the fuck is, and everybody knows it's Dusty. It's like, why is he even in a mask? Like,
he pulled the Midnight Rider shit so many times. He had the James Gang with MTA. Like he was just watch, rinse, repeat sometimes. So, but that's wrestling in general. It's all circular. So.
Yeah.
Anyway. All right. So that's my shit take. So probably not as much of a shit take that I thought it was. And I'm sorry I didn't make you mad, but that's okay.
Okay. Well, thank you for not making me mad, I guess. I don't really know if that's an answer. But,
all right.
Okay.
So let's talk about your shit take.
All right.
This isn't, and I'm going to give you shit. This isn't really a shit take.
Well, it's not a shit take. I don't think we, again, I know, like, it's funny, like, Justin Rosero has told us that we should change the name of the show from shit take to just, like, I don't know, opinion show. I mean, it's just an opinion show. It's not even.
I'm not changing the name.
No, we can't change it. No, we're not going to change the name. But I mean, the show really is a hot take. It's not even necessarily a shit take because, I mean, and you being the king, quote unquote, the king of shit takes. Like I've yet to hear you give a real true shit take on something that I can just where you're not just trying to get my goat like Savage or Steve Austin. I mean,
but I believe both of those.
I know, but I mean, but a lot of it is. I think a lot of it is like you push the envelope because you know it irritates me. You know.
No, I really do believe what I say about those two, though. I believe that about Booker T. I believe that about Sting.
Oh,
so don't tell me.
Wait, I'm sorry. Yeah. The Booker T one is a shit take. It's a shit take.
I believe it about Kofi Kingston and his world title reign. My shit takes, I truly believe. My shit takes, I truly believe.
But it's not a shit take in the sense that like. I'm trying to even think of like what's a real given shit take, like, you know, I don't know.
Sting sucks. Savage sucks. I give it all those shit takes.
Right, Savage doesn't suck. But anyway, moving on. I wanted to talk about Jim Johnston, the famous composer.
Who? Is that like Jimmy Dean sausage, Jim Johnston?
I would almost want to bring up like the Ultimate Warrior's Hall of Fame speech, but I don't want to even give breath to that fucking clown. But I will say when Warrior did his Hall of Fame speech and he talked about people in the backstage area and stuff, and actually it's kind of funny because I don't know if Shawn Michaels said it in his Hall of Fame speech, but I think he said it like on his going away speech the next night after Mania. Where he talked about the guy who like worked on all of his promo videos, you know, and how like he's like I wouldn't have had as much success, I guess, in his second run because I don't know if the guy was there in his first run, but the videos for Michaels really started in his second run, and you kind of notice like there are people out there like, for instance, the person who produced the My Way by with The Rock and Steve Austin, like that's a big like big promo video that kind of hyped.
It's one of the best videos for one of the worst WrestleMania matches of all time. By the way, that's also a shit take. I haven't talked to you about that one ever. But
17 is a horrible WrestleMania?
No, it's a good WrestleMania, but that made it. Well, I'm not a big fan of WrestleMania 17. There's a whole debate that I go with 19 and 17. That's a separate conversation, but I believe that main event is so overrated that it's not even funny.
It's overbooked.
Yes.
The 17 main event match is overbooked. So, in fact, Austin Rock not only Austin Rock 1, but Austin Rock 2, 3 are so much better than Austin Rock 2 because it was just overbooked. And I mean like their matches at Mania, because even their Intercontinental title matches were pretty good. But yeah, no,
but
like,
that's a separate conversation.
Yeah,
But I was gonna say that my way video might be one of the greatest things of all time.
It is. Even though it's so fucking stupid because, and just real quick on a real quick tangent, like Kurt Angle was fucking cooking as the world champion in 2000.
Yeah, he was.
He absolutely, and that's one. Oh, that's a future shit take for me. Is these fucking matches with and this Jenny will love this. You may love it too. The Rock as a transitional champion is a fucking joke. That's a future shit take. And I have receipts for that. But regardless, let me get back to this. So Jim Johnston, not only did Jim Johnston work with the WWF/WWE for decades, he also worked with Motorhead, Disturbed, Kid Rock, Mariah Carey, Run DMC. He worked for a bunch of different artists as kind of just their composer, musician, their in the booth, sound booth guy. He's never been recognized by the WWE for his contributions to their company, and I think that is criminal. Okay,
why do you think that is? Why do you think that is?
What, that they don't recognize him? I don't know.
I have thoughts about it, but I just want to know, why do you think that is? Because it doesn't make much sense.
Right. So if we go back to like the first WrestleMania, they had commercial music. I think. It's Easy Lover. Easy Lover is like the theme song, the Phil Collins song.
And the Saturday Night's main event, you got
Saturday Night Main Event was Obsession. Yeah. So Ricky Steamboat came out to Alan Parsons Project. Yeah. Hogan had the Hogan for a Minute had the Eye of the Tiger.
Yep.
So they definitely had a period of time, like every wrestling company does, because even if you go now to like independents, still do it to this day, where it's like, it's getting a little bit less now because you can AI, as you've done, you can AI songs. And it's like, it's not commercial, so you can use it. But like everybody, like wrestling has always used commercial music, going back to like the Freebirds and stuff like that. So it's like they did this for a while in WWF, but then at one point they decided, all right, we're no longer going to do this. We need to start having somebody be in-house to create our theme songs. And that's where Jim Johnston came in. And Jim Johnston created so many different themes. He essentially wrote the wrestling album, Pile Driver. He wrote all of those other albums that we had, all the music on those other albums that we had, like Wrestling Music Volume 1, Volume 2, Volume 3, Volume 4. He was all the way up through, I want to say, like 2008, I think he worked for the company, I feel like.
When did he start with them? Did you look? Have we looked at that? Like, I can look that up while you keep going talk.
I think he started in like 1985, I believe.
Did he really?
Or at least like 84, 85. Yeah, he first started back back before they had the wrestling album, but the first wrestling album. And I think he worked for them from 85, you know?
Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah, I know. And I mean, honestly, like just think of all the friggin' theme songs. Some of the good ones, like, the Heartfront. Well, that's another. Hold on, let me not say that because that's another thing I want to go into. Like I said, there's like a part B to this as well. But like all the great theme songs that we had over the years, and even some of the bad ones, like the Tornadoes theme song, Tugboats theme song, but like Earthquakes, like all of these theme songs that like kids loved and listened to. And then even getting into like the later years with Steve Austin's theme song, Mick Foley's theme song, The Nation, which then turned into The Rock's theme song. All of these songs were basically composed by Jim Johnston.
Jericho, DX.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then Jim Johnston has never been recognized by the WWE. He deserves a Hall of Fame induction. He deserves a Hall of Fame entrance, and I don't understand why they haven't given it to him. As a caveat to that, I also said, while you're at it, throw Jimmy Hart in there as well, because Jimmy Hart had, obviously we know Jimmy Hart has a career in music. He was with the Gentrys. I think the Gentrys had a Billboard hit, Keep On Dancing reached number 4 on the Billboard Hot 100 when he was.
Jimmy Hart's already in the Hall of Fame now.
Yes, okay, can we not do dual entry in the Hall of Fame at this point? I mean, seriously, I know we're talking about like a fictional Hall of Fame that doesn't exist, but if they were to build a Hall of Fame, you would have different different areas of the Hall of Fame that you could go to. One of which would be like managers, one of which would be backstage people. I think they need to start doing a backstage or somebody on the production team. That was one of the things that I will say I thought was good with that, the intention of the Warrior Award. They haven't used that in a number of years now.
Well,
I
wouldn't use it either if I were them.
No, but like the idea behind it is that it was a good idea because there are a lot of people who get credited too. Like, I'm trying to think. There was somebody recently who was talking about the makeup artist, their makeup artist that they use that does all like.
Yeah, they did induct her.
Did they induct her?
I'm not sure. I think so.
And you know, there was like, I think like Vince's assistant got in, not the one he shit on, like one of the, like, I think they inducted like one of Vince's assistants who was like, she ran the office and in Connecticut and everything. So I mean, there's opportunities for them as a company to, and I don't know if like, I don't think Major League Baseball or any of the other ones do this either, really. I mean, you have like broadcasters that get inducted, and then they do induct like the commissioners and maybe some owners and shit like that. But like, you don't ever have the guy that ran, you don't have like the lead umpire, I don't think is ever getting inducted. You know what I mean? But it's like, that's what they should do. But for somebody specific like Jim Johnston or even Jimmy Hart to get an induction for his contributions to music, because don't forget, when Jimmy Hart went to WCW, he friggin' helped compose and produce a lot of their theme songs. Especially, and no, he wasn't responsible. No, he's not responsible for like The Man Called Sting. He wasn't responsible for that horse shit.
No, that stuff's better than that Hulk Hogan goddamn theme he had. He's a man.
Yeah, but Jimmy Hart composed the NWO theme.
Did he?
Yes, and everybody loves the fucking NWO theme. Jimmy Hart did a lot, and Jimmy Hart did a lot in WWF as well. Like, I think Jimmy had a hand in the Honky Tonk Man. He had a hand in the Heart. Like, he's the one that wrote the Heart Attack theme, the Heart Foundation theme. That's Jimmy Hart.
Some stuff on Pile Driver. Yeah.
Yep. So I mean, I think that so is this a shit take? No. Does he need like this grand induction into like, he's not a headliner, but I think Jim Johnston deserves his moment to come out and say, thank you for this induction. I really appreciate it before he's dead. Like, that's another thing where like people were like, one of the big outcries about like this past recent Hall of Fame induction was like Sid's kids not even have a chance to come up and say anything, like that Sid was like inducted in like the Legacy Ward or whatever it was. And it's two completely different things, because I think Sid's son was bitching about it, but like Bad News Brown's kids were like, this is a great honor, because like they didn't think Bad News was ever going to get inducted.
Bad News isn't really a Hall of Famer though.
No, but I'm just saying, well, I mean, but again, it's not the WWF Hall of Fame, it's the Wrestling Hall of Fame. And I think that Bad News contributed to a lot in the rest of his career, not just necessarily WWF. I mean,
he got the Ghetto Blaster over. It's the first time I really even saw an Enziguri in my life.
Right.
So yeah,
I mean, and he was huge in Stampede. Not that anybody ever talks about Stampede, but
that is true.
I mean, I think that you got to have Jim Johnston in the Hall of Fame. And I said Jimmy Hart as well, but I'm willing to pass on Jimmy Hart if you put Jim Johnston. And Jim Johnston should have a legit video made for him where they should have interviews with some of the wrestlers that were responsible. Like Shawn Michaels could talk to him about his fucking theme song that he's been using since 1992. I mean, he still comes out to that fucking theme song.
He does.
For 30 years. He still comes out to it. I think that it's necessary. I think it's important and it should happen. And that's my theory. And I'm sticking to it.
All right. So I don't disagree with you. So here's a couple of things. So I was looking it up while you were talking. So
yeah.
WWE released legendary composer Jim Johnston in 2017, primarily due to shifting musical trends and backstage politics.
Yeah.
The company was aiming for a more modern, polished sound and began shifting its music. And this is what I would say is that goddamn CFO. So you started getting all those like new theme songs from CFO.
Yes.
A lot of people like that too, though. A lot of people like those.
At the first group that CFO put out, people like. Now everybody thinks all of his music is shit.
They do. They are. And he goes, Johnston later revealed he was slowly shut out of projects by a politically motivated staff member who wanted to bring in their own crew. So he was basically
He was pushed out.
Yeah, it sounds like a Vince McMahon thing. Sounds
It
like
could have been. It could have
Yeah.
been. It could have been. It could have been. I hate to say it because I don't like to talk poorly about the new group. It could have been a Stephanie McMahon thing. I
That's
feel like
true.
that's something like that's something like Stephanie would do. You know,
I mean,
could have been for all we know.
I got something Stephanie could push out.
What? I mean, I don't know. That's kind of like, are you gonna shit inside of her or something? Like, what are you gonna?
No. If you know, you know.
Yeah, if you know, you know. Okay.
If you know, you know.
Anyway.
All right. So those are our takes. Don't know if they're necessarily shit, but I think both of them are valid points. So, good. I agree with you, Keith. Just like you agree with me that Dusty Rhodes sucks. Keith, anything you want to plug?
Please listen to everything that we do here on the Back One Wrestling Network. Listen to me on GFA Live with Petey Winston, your favorite show.
Yes.
And as like I said, we're currently going through. Now we're getting up to Survivor Series 1990, and I think we're going to keep going. We're going to go basically. I think we're going to keep this run going all the way up until the Sid Justice vignettes start, which is pretty much where we picked up when we started our year of Sid that we went on in 91.
So what are you going to do after that?
I don't know. I've talked to him. It's funny. I talked to him because I've had people ask, like, can you guys? I've had people ask me, and then I've had people have commented, like, can we go back to like, another era or go back to like earlier WWF? And the thing is Pete said, he goes, a lot of it has to do with like finding shit, and he doesn't want to do as much searching as like I think you do when it comes to like. But we also like to do runs, so it's like we could do like one episode of like Championship Wrestling, but
do
like
WCW 91. He might want to jump off a cliff.
I think it's
already been covered. It's been covered.
It's been covered by so many podcasts.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, but like personally, I'd like to do another company and do like another era or something like that. But I mean, it's possible. Like maybe I could convince him to do like 95 WWF and just go back through and just like do that again.
Well,
like
New Gen on a Mission is already doing that.
That's true. Yeah. So that's what I'm saying is like there's a lot of stuff out there, but
world class. World class. Nobody talks world class.
He doesn't, and like he doesn't want to do like he doesn't really want to do modern shit. So like the Year We Fear, like that'd be great. Like
nobody does UWF. Nobody does world class.
But here's the thing: can you get consistently weekly every week? You can find stuff. That's the other thing. He doesn't want to. He doesn't want to be searching around every week to find shows.
Everything I do a show on, it's on YouTube.
Okay.
So.
All right. Well, then.
But anyway, but you're still. But I tell, like, I don't know if you'll get the same comedic value that you get of that era of WWF, which is hard because you guys are in an era where it's very fun and funny.
Yeah.
And I think the gimmicks of some of those other places are so boring and mundane. I don't know if you'd actually get it's a hard call. It's a hard call.
There's also the possibility that once we get done with this run, that's it. Because
what?
No. Just because he's like Howard Stern. He's always threatening to end the show.
Well, I forbid him to end the show. It's fine.
Oh, okay.
Anyway. All right. Anything else you want to plug?
That's it for now.
All right. For me and Keith, obviously you have the Shit Take. We also have the Hands of Z, which Keith's favorite podcast over Greedy's from Allentown. That's not true. But anyway, Hands of Z. And then we also have Meltzer Knows Best that we do now with Logan and Schiff, which has been a very interesting run. I don't know. At some point, I hope we get out of Japan more often and start seeing some other things. I know the latest episodes we do. We haven't recorded them yet, though. So the latest ones we go to AEW in Mexico. So
I was gonna say we're gonna get out of Japan and we're gonna go to AEW is basically it.
and watch the longest fucking match I think I've ever had to watch in my entire life on the Mexico one. But that's a whole other thing. So with that, I'm Shawn. He's Keith. We will see you guys on episode number 48 of The Shit.
I'm right and you're wrong, that's the name of this here song. This discussion's gone on way too long. I'm right and you're wrong. They say there's two sides to every scrum. My side's right and your side's dumb. That's the general rule of thumb. I'm right and you're wrong. If I'm right and you're wrong, I guess this can't be a sing-along. 'Cause you'd sing I'm right and that'd be wrong, 'cause I'm right and you're wrong. I'm right and you're wrong, that's the name of this here song. Dang, you sure are headstrong. I'm right and you're wrong. We can agree to disagree on things you're just too blind to see. Else you just agree with me, 'cause I'm right and you're wrong. Please don't cloud the issue with facts. Let's just stick to personal attacks till there ain't no turning back. 'Cause I'm right and you're wrong. I'm right and you're wrong. That's the name of this here song. Civil discourse just don't belong. I'm right and you're wrong. What's that you say? Maybe we should listen. Maybe there's things we've both been missing. Heck, we could wind up hugging and kissing if no one's right or wrong. All this talking's gone on way too long. There ain't gonna be no brand new dawn, 'cause you're an idiot and I'm King Kong. I'm right and you're wrong. I'm right and you're wrong. That's the name of this here song. It turns out all along I was right and you were wrong. I'm right and you're wrong. That's the name of this here song. This whole thing's gone on way too long. I'm right and you're wrong. Yeah, the world ain't flat, it's just oblong. I'm right and you're wrong. And you're ugly too.